Hey guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to Wolterman Homestead and welcome back to our kitchen. Last video I had several people ask about my apron, so I will drop a link down in the description below. This is an apron from Favorite Things Gift Collection by Pauletta. She has a Facebook page. I stumbled across it and I asked her for something floral, and so she gave me several different floral options. And so I picked out the white, this fabric pattern, and then she asked what color would you want to match with it, and I just kind of said, you know, any color in here would be pretty, and like she mailed it to me, and I was just absolutely blown away by how cute it is and how it fits. So definitely go check her little Facebook page out. She makes different size aprons, different designs, different styles. And then she also makes clothespin bags to hang out on your laundry line when you're hanging laundry. So we're going to go ahead and jump on in today's video. Dylan took the kids to town real quick, and so that gave me enough time to make some homemade from scratch hamburger buns. And then we'll be using some Schoentrup hamburger patties. And then I'll be fixing up some other stuff to go with hamburgers today for lunch. So this recipe is pretty versatile. I use this recipe for like our regular white bread. I use it for hamburger buns. I use it for hot dog buns. I've even used it for breadsticks. It all just kind of depends on how you cut it and how you shape it. But it's really good, really fluffy and airy and just delicious. This recipe is one that I've had for a while. I typically just have it hanging up in my cabinets. I'm that person that has recipes everywhere in my cabinets. So we're going to go ahead and start off with 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. We use organic flour. So I've already put that in the bowl, and then you're going to throw in 2 tablespoons of just white sugar. You're going to throw 2 teaspoons of yeast. Now this is just fast-rising yeast that I picked up at the grocery store. You're going to do a teaspoon of salt. You're going to throw in 1 egg, which this is an egg from our chickens. You're going to do 2 tablespoons of oil. I typically use organic olive oil, but you could use whatever you have in your pantry that is available. And then you're going to add 1 cup of warm milk. Now, with my microwave, I can just throw it in for a minute. You do not want the milk to be over 110 because you will scald your yeast, and then it won't rise and it just won't work very well. So, keep that in mind when you're warming up your milk. I'm going to drop this down and let it mix. It honestly just kind of depends on the day. Sometimes I have to add flour and sometimes I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more flour to this. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and set the timer for 2 minutes and just let this beat, and it will help kind of work up that gluten. I'm going to add a little bit more flour. You're looking for a ball. So we're going to take some flour, flour our surface. Also want to have clean hands, but flour your fingers. Then you're going to take the dough out of the bowl. I will tell you guys too, if you hear little chirping, if the microphone picks it up, there are some baby chicks and a brooder behind the camera. just going to take your spatula and just scrape your dough out of the bowl. Now if you have a dough scraper, you could use that as well. So now you're just going to knead your dough. Now I've done this recipe so many times that like I just kind of know the feel that I'm looking for with my dough, but typically I'll knead it for a couple of minutes. So when I knead it, I kind of push it down, grab this side, fold it over, and then push it down, kind of as if there's a heart. Like I said earlier, every single time I make this, I add flour, or I don't have to add flour. It just kind of just depends on the moisture that's in the air and how large the egg is from our chickens. There's lots of different things that could play a factor in adding more flour or not, or if it's still sticky. To me, this dough ball is really pretty good. It feels good. When I push on it, it bounces back. I'm just going to take a little towel here, cover it up, and let it rest for about 10 minutes. While our dough is resting, you can go ahead and prep whatever pan you're going to use. I like to use glass pans. This is a 13 by 9. I'm just going to butter it. If you want to use oil, you can do that as well. I just prefer butter. So our 10 minutes is up. We're just going to take our dough ball and cut it into sections. I typically prefer to use a straight edged knife. It just kind of cuts it easier, but that's just my kind of preference. I kind of cover up the dough as I'm working, that way it doesn't get dried out. Typically I get about 8 hamburger buns with each batch. You just want to try to make them roughly the same size. That one's a little bit smaller. So when trying to make a ball, it's easier if you push up and then pull out and then tuck it under, and then rotate the bottom in your hand. And then you've got a nice little roll. So again, push up, pull down, spin the bottom around. We've got our 8 hamburger buns done. We're just going to take a towel, throw it over the top, and just let them rise in a warm spot. So if you're in a hurry and you want these to rise, you can turn the light on in your oven. Do not turn on the oven, and you can set them in your oven with the light on, and that will be a warm place to let them rise. You can leave them out on the counter and just kind of let them do their thing. But you can also, I've done several times in the past, I'm a gardener, and so I have seed starting warm mats. And so I can lay one of those out on the counter and then set my pan on top of it, and then the warmth from the seed starting mat helps them rise a little bit quicker. Typically it takes them about 30 to 45 minutes to rise. These buns are all done. I'm going to go ahead and pop them in the oven. Preheated it to 375. Now these bake about 30 minutes. Typically I will bake them 15 minutes and see what the tops look like, and the tops sometimes can get crispy pretty quick, turn brown, and so I will lay a sheet of aluminum foil on top halfway in the bake. So 15 minutes in, pull them out, put aluminum foil on top, and then pop them back in for the last 15 minutes.
So what we got today, guys, is exciting for me and my wife. We made some great friends up at Schoentrup Farms. They gave us a couple weeks ago some meat, and what we got was a couple hamburgers from that they have on their farm. We were really blessed and thank them very much for that. Today we're going to be firing up the grill. I've already got it heated up now. We're going to cut these open and give these puppy a try. And these patties look thick and hearty, especially if you're a grill master. These suckers are absolutely fantastic. Put a couple on the grill here.
So Dylan and I are going to have the Schoentrup hamburgers, and then the kids are going to split. We had one leftover hamburger, just a freezer hamburger. So they are little, so they're just going to share the burger there.
I tell you, these hamburgers that Schoentrup has, I am very impressed, not to say the least, about how well, when you take them out of the package, like this is a store-bought heritage hamburger. Yeah. It's usually our favorites we get. Yeah. And obviously you can see by the the thinness compared to the Schoentrups, they're unbelievable about how they hold their size, which is awesome, because when you think about it, you're getting more bang for your buck when you got thick and hearty and juicy hamburgers. So I'm very excited to see how these are going to taste.
The burgers are done. I've got the cheese. Dylan is a spicy guy, and so his is loaded with cayenne. But we are really impressed with that they stayed their shape. They didn't shrink. You know, you get those hamburgers from the store and you put them on the grill and all of a sudden you're like, it's totally gone, and you've got like a little sausage patty. So we are really excited to munch into these guys. All cut open, super springy, airy, light and fluffy. We've got our beef patty.
Which is like meatier.
Yeah, it is super thick, really juicy. It looks super good. We've got our homegrown in the greenhouse lettuce. Throw some mustard on top. We've got macaroni and cheese and carrots, and here's our meal. We've got our lunch done here. Really excited to sit down and take a big old bite out of this. So special thanks to Schoentrup Farms. I will drop a link down below and up above so you guys can go check out their channel and how they grow their meat. And how they process everything on their farm. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned something new. Take care, and God bless.